As the old saying goes, when life gives you lemons, sometimes you make lemonade. An example of that is this, the Fiat 500. This car was never meant to come to America. But after Chrysler's bankruptcy, Fiat owns a big chunk of them. That enabled Fiat to return to the American market, where they've been gone since the early 80s. The first car they returned with is the 500. We just bought this car to test, so let's take a first drive. The 500 has been a big sales success in Europe. They're taking a page out of Mini's playbook. Rather than building a small car that you buy just because it's cheap or gets good fuel economy, they're building a small car that you buy because you really want it. And the reason people are going to want the 500, it's pretty obvious. It's the styling. Some people think the car is cute as a button. No matter what, it has a lot of neat little details, like the red brake calipers on our sports edition. The car also comes in a whole bunch of bright little colors, just like a bowl of jelly beans, or it comes in the rather interesting brown of our test car. When you have a tiny little car, you expect big fuel economy numbers. Our 500 with a manual is rated by the EPA at 30 in the city, 38 highway. That sounds pretty good until you start to consider that there's quite a few larger sedans with automatic transmissions that get the same fuel economy or better. The little 1.4-liter engine does a decent job of pulling around the 500. However, to maintain speed on hills, as you'd expect, you're going to have to do quite a bit of revving, and you're going to have to stir the gearbox quite a bit in order to keep up speed. Sometimes it's fun, sometimes it's a bit of a chore. Our first impression is that the 500 is pretty nimble to drive, but it doesn't quite measure up to the larger Mini when it comes to agility. Also, when it comes to the ride, well, there's only so much you can do with a wheelbase as short as this. The 500 has a pretty nice interior. It doesn't feel cheap inside, partly because, well, this isn't really a cheap car. There's a lot of neat details inside, too. The dashboard is painted to match the outside body color. Speedometer and tachometer, they're concentric rings, and it's kind of hard to read at a glance. Even though you're in a tiny little car in traffic, mixing it up with a lot bigger cars, you don't feel so intimidated in traffic because you sit up high. However, visibility could be better. There's a pretty thick pillar here at the base of the windshield, and the over-the-shoulder view to the left is not good at all. Luckily, there's an extra little mirror outside to help see in that blind spot. This is a pretty narrow car, and it feels it inside. The shifter pod, well, your right knee's almost always up against it. No surprise, there's not much rear seat room. Also, there isn't a whole lot of cargo space, even if you fold this seat down. So how does the Fiat 500 fit into the supersized streets of America? We'll let you know as we put more miles on our car and test it here at our track.